You can film in 4K all day long, but if your audio's rubbish, no one's going to keep watching. So how do you make your Osmo Nano sound pro? Whether you're using the built-in microphones on the Nano or one of the wireless DJI mics, this video's for you. And I'll show you 2 hidden audio secrets that most people miss. The Osmo Nano is a modular camera system. You've got the vision dock and the camera module. The camera module itself has 2 built-in microphones, one on the front and one on the side. There's no built-in microphones on the vision dock. You can also wirelessly connect one of the DJI mics, but not all of them. It supports DJI Mic 2, DJI Mic 3 and DJI Mic Mini. When using a wireless microphone, there's one important limitation that you need to know about, but we'll cover that later. If you're not using a wireless microphone, you can still take advantage of the built-in microphones. The first thing I want to talk about is how you hold the camera module. When you're using the built-in microphones, you've got to be careful not to cover up those microphone holes, either on the front or the side. Especially if you're using it to vlog, you want that front microphone hole to be facing you unobstructed. DJI do also say that if you're holding the camera module for an extended period of time, then you should hold it at the sides and not the top and bottom, because it may get warm. You can optionally use the protective case though. Let's look at some of the settings for the built-in microphone. To access the microphone settings, tap these little sliders on the right hand side of the screen, and if you scroll up and down here you can see that we don't have any access to audio options. To do that, you're going to need to tap the Pro button at the top right and enter Pro mode. Next, tap on the little microphone icon at the top, and this is going to give you access to the settings for the built-in microphone. And you can see we've basically got 2 settings that we can change with the built-in mics. The first setting is this channel. You can set this to either mono or stereo. You're better off changing this to mono if you're just going to be talking to the camera and you're not going to be wanting to pick up stereo sounds or things happening all around you. If, however, you are wanting a bit more ambience, you can change this to stereo, and now it's going to give you a stereo signal in your video editing software. The second setting we can change is the wind noise reduction. If we tap on this, you can see we've got 3 settings. Wind noise reduction off. This is what you want to use if you're filming inside with no wind. Wind noise reduction standard. You can use this if you've got slightly windy conditions, but if it's really windy, you might want to set this to high. And this is what the built-in microphones sound like with noise reduction turned off in this studio. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is what it sounds like with the noise reduction set to standard. Testing 1, 2, 3. And this is what it sounds like with noise reduction set to high. Testing 1, 2, 3. If you do turn on wind noise reduction, just be aware that it might change the sound of your voice, especially if you're using that higher level setting. Later, I'll show you a much better way to deal with wind noise. For the absolute best sound quality, you're going to want to use a wireless DJI mic. You're going to want to power on your DJI mic. In this case, it's a DJI Mic 2. Swipe down from the top of your Osmo Nano and tap this little mic button. The great thing about the Osmo Nano is that you can wirelessly connect 2 DJI mics at the same time. And that's why we've got TX1 and TX2 here. Let's go and pair TX1, just tap on that. And now just hold down the linking button on whichever DJI mic you've got. Do that for a few seconds and we should see the microphone get paired. There we go. Now this microphone is connected to the Osmo Nano. Just tap confirm. And we can see if I talk into this microphone, we get this little volume bar going up and down. If I scroll down here, we've got a number of settings for this transmitter that we just connected. We can choose whether to enable noise cancellation via the transmitters button. We can turn off and on the LED. We can turn off or on the vibration in the transmitter, like when you start and stop recording. This dual audio recording feature means that when you press record on the Nano, when it starts recording video, it's automatically going to start internal recording on the DJI Mic 2. The low cut setting allows you to add some EQ to roll off some of the lower frequencies. A lot of the time people will use that if there's rumbling from an air conditioner or maybe some traffic noise in the distance, but I prefer to do this using the EQ tool in the video editing software. The DJI Mic 2 supports 32-bit float internal recording, and that's going to give you more protection against overloading the audio and it sounding rubbish. You can choose whether to automatically power off the transmitter when the Nano powers off, and you can also format the internal memory on this DJI Mic 2. Let's go and pair a second microphone. I'm going to tap TX2. And this time I'm going to turn on this DJI Mic Mini, hold down the linking button, and after a few seconds we get the connection. Just tap confirm. And now you can see we've got on the left DJI Mic 2 and on the right DJI Mic Mini. I'm going to scroll down here to transmitter 2 settings, which is the DJI Mic Mini that we just connected. And you can see that we've got slightly different options. We've still got noise cancellation using the button on the transmitter. We can still turn the LED on and off. We've still got the low cut setting, but with the DJI Mic Mini, we've got this clipping control setting that we can turn on or off. So it's important to note the settings will depend on which type of DJI mic you connect. Clipping control on the DJI Mic Mini just helps to try and stop overly loud things making the audio sound rubbish. It's not the same as 32-bit recording though. We've got auto power off and just the transmitter version information. Also, when we go back to the control center, because we've got wireless mics connected, this icon turns yellow. And if we go back to the main screen, you can see at the top, we've got these 2 volume bars. And this is telling us how loud the signal is on the left from transmitter 1, DJI Mic 2, and the right, transmitter 2, in this case DJI Mic Mini. So you want these bars to be mostly green, occasionally yellow, but never really hitting the red. If you are using a wireless microphone with the Osmo Nano, something strange happens when you disconnect the Osmo Nano camera from the Vision dock. I'll show you that in a second. So now you've got your wireless microphone paired to your Osmo Nano, let's look at some of the actual recording settings you can take advantage of. To access these, tap the little sliders on the right of the screen, and you notice at the top we don't have the little microphone, we've got this mic icon that looks more like a DJI mic transmitter. If we tap on that, we're going to get another set of options. So you can see these look a lot different from when we were using the internal microphone. Because we've got 2 transmitters connected, we can choose whether we want a mono signal. That's going to basically combine the audio from both of these microphones together into a single mono channel in the video file. That means you can't edit both of the microphone's audios separately in video editing. So if you're using 2 mics, I'd always suggest having this as stereo. You can choose which of the transmitters goes on the left or the right track. And then an important setting is the transmitter gain 1 and transmitter gain 2. This is going to determine how loud the audio from each of these transmitters will be recorded in the video. So if I set gain for transmitter 1 all the way down to -12 and head back here, you can see on the left that green bar is not really going as high as it was. And if we head back in here, change transmitter gain all the way up to +12. Now when I'm talking, you can see that bar is hitting the red all the time, so that is way too loud. So you're always going to want to attach the transmitter to the person and then come into these gain settings and find what makes sense for that person's voice and the situation. Again, you want it to be occasionally in the yellow, mostly in the green, but never in the red. As well as the gain settings, we've got some other controls. These controls will be enabled or disabled depending on the kind of wireless microphone you've got connected. We can mute a transmitter by turning it on or off, and we can enable or disable the noise reduction for these transmitters. Remember that this first one is DJI Mic 2, so we can either turn this off or on, but DJI Mic Mini has 3 levels: off, low, and high. I wouldn't recommend using any noise reduction if you're recording in a quiet inside location. Remember earlier I said I'd show you a better way to deal with wind noise, and this is it. The great thing about these external transmitters is they come supplied with these little wind socks, or you might have heard them called dead cats. You just attach them on top of the microphone and these little things cut out loads of wind noise to give you a much cleaner recording. They also come with DJI Mic Mini and DJI Mic 3. Earlier I said that a strange thing happens if you're using wireless microphones and then you detach the camera. Let me show you what I mean. So at the minute we can see what's being recorded in the Osmo Nano camera module, and we can see at the top we've got these volume bars because we've got wireless microphones attached. I'm going to go and disconnect the camera module from the Vision dock. And you can see when I do this, we no longer get the live view from the camera, but we do still get the volume information about how loud this is. So that's just one limitation. If you're using wireless microphones, you won't get remote wireless visual monitoring. So all of that's really great, but wait until you see the first of the 2 hidden features I'm going to show you. First, if you're serious about making better looking videos, regardless of the camera or phone that you're using, you're really going to want to check out my 52 Laws of Video ebook. I worked really hard on it and it teaches you 52 ways you can make much better videos really easily. It's a really easy read and I'd really appreciate your support. Check the first link in the video description. It's also available on Kindle. To access this first hidden feature, slide down from the top and tap the little nut icon to go to the settings. Scroll down here until you see built-in mic audio backup. Tap that and turn it on. Now you're going to get not only the wirelessly transmitted signal from the microphones recorded into the video file, you're also going to get a separate audio file on your SD card that's going to give you access to what was recorded on the internal microphones at the same time. That means if you've got your Osmo Nano a little bit further away from you and you've got a wireless microphone attached to yourself, you can blend in the sounds of the wireless microphone and the ambient sounds from the Osmo Nano's internal mics to give you so much more options when you edit your audio in post-production. But there's one more audio trick up the Osmo Nano sleeve that almost no one talks about. Tap on the bottom left to change the shooting mode and head over to slow motion mode. So at the minute this is set to 4K 120 frames a second. Now if you record in 120 frames a second in slow-mo mode or any of the slow-mo modes and you play that video file back, you're going to get zero audio. But if you look on the SD card or the internal storage, you'll find a special audio file that actually contains the audio that was recorded during that slow motion. You can now go and bring that into your video editing software and use that if you need the audio during slow motion. You might have to stretch it out to make your voice sound really slow, if that's what you want. These 10 settings will give you the best chance of getting pro-looking footage out of your Osmo Nano. Definitely check that out. I'm Jason Roberts. Please subscribe and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.